Hello everyone, welcome to this episode where I'm going to finally turn this pile of tubes into something that actually resembles a car. Now for a start we had to make our bucks that I had laser cut. Even though I laser cut them, it was still a bit of a puzzle to put them together. But thanks to Eli and Gary for coming around and giving me a hand. I've just had a major setback, a bit of a disaster. The whole front end I screwed together for spacing to sort of build everything off, and I was trying to move it on my own, lift it up, and the glue failed. Like, it's screwed down there, but above it where the uprights go to the bottom failed, and it fell off and smashed on the floor. Broke that bit off at the join. That's not too bad, but then all these little bits, it's going to be a right pain. I'm going to have to now try glue it all back together, hope that it stays symmetrical to the other side. Maybe add some little screw blocks like that to try and help support it a bit more. But yeah, oh well. Another day here. Managed to fix my little disaster I had using some glue and plates to glue and screw it all back together, and it should be right. I've got to do a couple more little bits, but that's right. And now that you're together, I'm going to take a different approach again from what I did on the intake and what I did on the bonnet. So I have this material that's really, really stretchy, and I'm going to stretch it over it and staple it down in the concave curve, and it should stretch over nicely on the convex curve. And then from there, put a coat of epoxy resin straight onto it, and that way it sort of sets the material kind of hard, and then I can build off that. So I've actually tested this theory and done the other side. That's only the rough coat of the plaster, but as you can see, you see a bit of the material hanging out the bottom there. That was the material, and it goes hard, and then you can layer out your plaster and it's nice and firm. So it looks like that's going to work, so I'm happy now to jump into this one and make it the same. So when it comes to design for me, this thing has been on the go for a very long time, especially when it comes to drawing the bodywork. Maybe 3 years, I don't know, but since that, I have been obsessed about getting this the way I want it. Obsessed about the design, literally dream about it, trying to figure things out, all the process I've gone through, and this feels like a milestone because it's the first time like my image that I've had in my head for ages is like in front of me, so it's unbelievable, really. Yeah, I just got to like truck in now, get all these bits finalized and made, and it's just going to start coming together more and more. I've layered up more plaster on the guards. As you can see, I'm sort of building it up, so eventually this will have a little seat to drop into here, and it'll be nice and flush and look like they're made to fit together. So I just need to keep slowly building that plaster up and working away at that. So I'm just going to jump in here and let you know what's going on. These are the finish plaster molds of the guards. Now I have to carefully take them off and start getting them ready to actually make fiberglass parts off them. Now, it actually worked out pretty good, but I'm doing it a different way again. Not so much like I did the bonnet, but a little bit more like what I did on the air intake. So I'm going to make a fiberglass part on top of these molds, pull them off, and then build that up and smooth it off, and that's just going to be my finished part for now. I might take molds off them later, but for now, because I'm still sort of figuring out how I want it to look and stuff, I'm just going to make one-offs for this, and hopefully it's a good idea. It might end up being more work than it's worth. So hopefully it's going to be less materials and less time. It kind of turned out to be probably more time, but I'm pretty happy with the end result anyway. Finally got sort of the wheel where it needs to be. The gap is good, so I'll be able to tighten it up, sharpen it up. Same on this side, a wee bit more of a gap at the top just here, but that's okay. Because the wheel gap, I've got these pieces on because I was just double checking the wheel alignment since I'm lining everything up to the wheels. So as I'm doing all the front guards, I decided to start building the actual front splitter for this thing. Now, it's just an alloy sheet that I'm going to have in there. It's going to have some air ducts and kind of like a solid ridge around the outside to stay within the rules of radiuses that you're allowed on the front of the car. After drawing it up in SolidWorks, I cut it out on a plasma cutter, thanks to Apex Engineering, and then started piecing all the pieces together. Then I folded the parts up and then started welding the ducts on and getting it all ready to go on the car. So I've just pulled the front out again, and I'm just adding the 6mm piece to the bottom of the 3mm piece, and I'm not sure if I'm going to glue it on once I've made that part or if I'm going to weld it on. I might stitch it on, but see, so I've got to do these joins that are in here. I didn't bend this, I just added these bits because I thought they might need a little bit of fiddling to get them in nice, because I want this to be perfectly aligned so it looks nice, and it gives me more meat to attach it, makes it a bit stronger, and it also gives me a better radius. Really good thing about getting the board out from the front and actually get this thing kind of attached is I was able to check that the wheels turn alright. The mount for the steering rack is just loose in there, it's not tight at the moment, but as you can see it gets pretty good lock, like it gets full lock that it can do either way without hitting. But as you can see, if I was to hit a bump with it full turn here, there's only hardly even 20mm worth of gap on this side, and I think it's less on the other side. Just fit my fingers in there. So I'm actually going to trim this. So this was a minimal trim around here. I will come back and probably trim a bit more off all the way around there. But what I'll do is I'll make sure these are finally mounted first, and I'll use the center of the wheel, or the piece of the wheel here, and actually draw a line So then it sort of perfectly matches where the wheel sits, so it looks like it should. Because at the moment, they look like they're slightly forward, not bad, but slightly forward. I'd like that to be perfectly matching, would be quite nice. How good does this thing look with the fins in the front and the wind deflector tucked up under there? It's made the whole car look a lot more sleek, and like it doesn't have a big parachute in the front as much anyway. I was thinking about changing the way that the fins go to hug them tighter to the lights, but this way is actually growing on me, so we'll see. That's something I can change in the future if I want, but for now it's going to stay like this. Here I am fiddling with the lights. Now I'm going to talk about the lights in probably 2 episodes time when I sort of talk a little bit more about the final wiring in the car. So next episode is going to be the whole rear of the car, or all the rest of the bodywork, so that's going to be quite a good one. And again, it's going to look even better than it does now. So stay tuned, it'll be out shortly. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and we'll see you on the next one.